In this video, I'm going to show you how I create floating shelves. I'm using 3/4 inch white oak plywood, and these are floating shelves that have a hollow center, so you can make a support brackets that'll this will slide right over. So what I do first is I just cut everything down to the sizes that I need. So I've got the top, front, and bottom. These shelves are about 27 inches long, 2¼ inch thick, and then they stick out about 5 inches, I think they are. So what I do is once I cut them down to the size I need, I then set up my table saw so it's at that 45-degree angle. It makes it a lot easier to get those miters nice and tight. So as you can see, it's hitting just right where that veneer is on that plywood. And then for the side cuts, I like to use my chop saw. And a little tip for using your chop saw, especially for these cuts, is you hold the blade down until it stops spinning completely. And then that way you avoid any tear out. So as you can see, that front piece is 45-degree miters on all sides. So then what you do is you put the sides that will be facing out, and you match up the grain as best you can. I like to use just painter's tape for keeping these edges all together. And taping it up this way, you can see how the grain is going to match up and how your miters are matching up. It just makes it a little bit easier. And using the tape, so when you flip it over, it'll all stay together. So next you just use the wood glue for all of those seams, and using the brush, making sure you're getting it all over those mitered edges of the plywood. And then you just fit that last piece. As you can see, it goes right in. If you want to keep those miters nice and tight, I use tape along these as well. And any glue that squeezes out, I try and clean up while it's still wet. It makes it a little easier for sanding down the line. I like to use the screwdriver, like the round edge of it, as I'm doing here. It kind of just brings those wood fibers together for those miters. And then I really lightly hand sand, that's with 240 grit sandpaper, just really getting those miters tight together. I usually start with 120 grit sandpaper, just real lightly over all of it. And then swap that out for 240. Again, going over really lightly. The 120 should get rid of any glue marks if there are any. And then this is all ready for stain. I love using Minwax water-based stain. This is weathered oak. It's going to look really nice on that white oak. Bring the grain out a little bit, but not too much. You wipe it on any of the excess off immediately. Unless you want it to be a little darker, you can have it sit a bit longer. It just gives a really nice finish and easy cleanup because it's water-based. So I'm just finishing that up and checking it all over. The last step, I love to use a sprayer. Again, I use Minwax poly. This is in a matte, and again, water-based, and it works really well with the sprayer. It came out nice and smooth. And that's it. Be sure to subscribe and follow along for more tutorials.